good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, here in my home office, my studio here at the house. And so glad to have you along with us on our midweek venture or adventure into the great outdoors, the history and tradition of hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping, and whatever else is on our minds these evenings, right? Cliff, good evening. Patrick, Gene, Craig, always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you for that information you just gave me, Craig. Okay, there's the official intro into this week's show. Jeff, how are you? Uncle Johnny, Jerry checking in from Algonac. A peach bush light? A peach bush light. Well, Johnny, I'll give you 3 guesses what's in here right now. And Craig, look what mug this is. And it is a Yeti. I won't show you the logo. I don't want to. I don't like Yetis. Hey, Paul. How are you doing this evening? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Right now, all there is Crystal Light in here. But you know my Wednesday night routine. As soon as I get done, I go upstairs, put a little something else in there. Hello, Jim. How are things in Tennessee? Appreciate you checking in with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. Wednesday Night Live, Tony. Boats will be in the water early this year. Crow season starts tomorrow. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Tony, my fellow skinny water brother. Yeah, I think the boats are going to be out early this year, too. Hey, Bernie. How have you been? Everything okay, I hope? Good evening to the bins. Hi, Shannon. Hey, Shannon, how have you been? David, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me over on YouTube. Again, my name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live, our weekly Wednesday night foray into a conversation with you and I. Speaking of conversations, I had a conversation this morning with Mike Sills, Michigan outdoorsman. He's on the radio show this week. Mike, I did not know the connection with you and Dixie Dave. Dave was telling me that, so that is very, very cool. Good evening, Randy. Jim says a little chilly tonight in Tennessee. It's nice and warm here in Michigan, Jim. I will tell you the complete rundown of who's on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show in just a few minutes. Oh, thank you, David. I appreciate that. Hey, Linda. Always nice to have you along with us as well. I appreciate you checking in. Known him for years, Mike Sills. Mike Sills, the Michigan outdoorsman, the Michigan outdoorsman. Turns out he's a good friend of Dixie Dave's. Didn't even know that. Sam, appreciate you joining us. Terry just came in from squirrel hunting. Terry, I think that's great. There are so many people, myself included, who kind of forget about small game hunting. So I'm really happy that you're out there doing that. Scott. Hey, Jim. Judy, how have you been? Aditya, including Georgie. Hi, George. Aditya, you should show Georgie the video of Trent's dog and cat. By the way, I like your new chairs, too. And Shelby, I can't believe I missed lunch today. I'd like to go to that place. Never been there. I know you say I have, but I haven't. Randy said it's 65 in Orlando right now. Hello, Michelle. Oh, Michelle says, good evening, Mr. Mike. I see they're doing auditions for singers of the national anthem at Dow Diamond. I can't sing the national anthem, but I do a hell of a good rendition of Happy Birthday. And I'm pretty good with a 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. So maybe I should look into that. Hello, Jeff. Ross. My good friend Ross Elliott, who has just changed his life for the better. I am so proud of you, Ross. Tim says global warming in the north, ice age in the south. Tommy, how are you? John says lunch was delicious. Rub it in. Johnny, I was looking forward to having some chicken wings left over from our dinner last night, but somebody ended up taking them home with them. Hey, Derek. Mike checking in from Coldwater, the southwest part of the state. David said, are you coming back to Port Huron soon? David, I just got an invitation from WPHM to come over for their home garden show. I'm not going to be able to make it this year, so no. Ross says we can tell everybody now. Finally went through with it. What Ross, it's okay. What Ross is talking about. Ross had the gastric sleeve surgery. It's the same surgery I had 5 years ago to lose 115 pounds. And I pretty much kept it off. So Ross and I had been talking for a while. He had been struggling with weight loss, just as I had been. And he pulled the trigger on it, Ross. And I'm very, very proud of you. And honestly, you're going to be so glad that you did this. So congrats, buddy. Tommy had wings for the Lions game. Wouldn't it have been cool if the Lions were coming up in the Super Bowl? They still had a great season, didn't they? Jason, my fellow Trinity Monitor brother, how are you? Hey, Doug, right back at you. Had fresh perch fillets for dinner. Oh, nice. Uncle Johnny's wishing you luck there, or quick healing. Hey, Paul, how are you? Okay. I'm rendering down, Jeff says, the rest of my bear fat. Going to make some authentic bear grease waterproofing leather dressing. That is very cool. I've never thought of that. But how cool is that of a way to stay in touch with the old ways? I think we all did, Tommy. We all did. They did blow it. They did. They proved in the first half that they could win that game. It didn't happen. Exactly, Linda. Linda, here's the perfect point, Linda. Think about it. Lions made basically the Final Four. I mean, come on. From 0-12 or whatever their record was to this. Hey, Ashley, how are you? Ross says, already reaping the benefits. Only been 5 days, so worth it. Again, I'm so happy for you, Ross. Okay, so what's on the list for tonight? Today, I recorded the last shows for January. Isn't that something? And tomorrow's the first day of February. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Eric. Bernie says, speaking of squirrel hunting, there's an older gentleman from Gladwin that comes down to his farm every year to hunt with his squirrel dogs to hunt his woods. Very cool. Okay, Sal. Caught this morning's show, just picked up a Woods and Water edition. Good, thank you. Ashley, you had pneumonia. Oh, you have pneumonia. Well, I hope you get feeling better. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. Johnny, what? 14 days, what? 14 days till what? 14 days till Valentine's Day. Are you wishing me a happy Valentine's Day, Johnny? Is that what's going on here? Evening, David. Mark rubbing it in from a warm Arizona. Robert, MUCC fund drive to try to keep our interest is now going on. I talked with Nick Green today on the show about this. His birthday. Your birthday's on Valentine's Day, Johnny? How appropriate is that? You're so romantic. MUCC has got a big drive on right now for memberships, and I support that completely. I just renewed my 2-year membership. Tim, how are you? Johnny Bowler's birthday is 14 days. Johnny, you'll be 53? How old, Johnny? John Callison, you are excused. What you're not excused for is the very last, and I want you to go back in time this, John, the very last buzzer we had, and I think it was for a ham, and it would have been the last show of 2023. I did an incredible buzzer that may have been a new record setter, but since you weren't with us, it's not documented. 51. See, you just look older, Johnny. 51, good for you. Phil checking in from Manistee. He said the snow's almost gone. Isn't that crazy, Phil? Scott says, saw the DNR at Michigan Outdoors. Jimmy was on him about baiting. I know Jimmy's a fan of baiting. So am I. Derek says his mama's birthday was on Valentine's Day. All right, John, good answer. Yeah, Johnny is still a kid. Bernie, he is still a kid, isn't he? I knew that, Yider Insurance, one of my advertising partners, I had been working with them on getting my Medicare in place. Now, this was back in June. They just asked me to do a Medicare spot for them. Turned out really nice. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Nice to have you along with us. Kevin Coyote Killing King Rock is with us tonight from Overdrive Outdoors. Johnny said he feels 75. Another guy who's rubbing in tonight, Jeff Hammond, checking in from the Keys. Hope you're having fun, Jeff. Tim, I'll be 50 this summer. I hope I catch that many walleyes to celebrate. Well, I hope throughout the course of the summer you catch more than 50 walleye. I'm ready to get the boat out. I mean, not really, but I'm thinking that direction. Okay, so let's turn our attention to this week's show because it that leads me into it. About ice fishing season on Saginaw Bay, the Saginaw River. Listen, ice fishing on the Saginaw River is done for the year. It's done. The bay, it's leaving quick. It's leaving quick. Now, if you want to go out there, that's on you. If you think you are invincible and you're convinced that you know a safe route out there and back, and you're convinced the crack isn't going to open up with a southwest wind, and you're convinced that you can go out there and find fish worth going through the ice on, have at it. My first guest on the radio show this week, the airborne angler, Marty Saliga. Marty talks about his efforts, his project of flying Saginaw Bay and the Saginaw River throughout the wintertime to do an ice survey. Marty's a great guy. Another great guy who's on here with us tonight, Mike Sills, Michigan Outdoorsman. He joins me on the show. Well, I think I just screwed up my headroom. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. The second hour, Corky Legui talks about beagles and bunnies. Then Nick Green of MUCC. This week's Ask Avery question from our friend Craig Plowman. I'll come back to that shortly. In the third hour, we're talking with Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters, riversidecharters.com. Paul donated a salmon fishing trip on Lake Michigan for our Trinity Monitor dinner. I'll come back to that as well. And, of course, we wrap it all up with Wild Game Chef Extraordinary Dixie Dave Miner. This week's Ask Avery question from Craig Plowman, who is on here with us tonight. He said, I was listening to a recent show about spearing and setting up tip-ups. Question number 1, does the spear count as a rod? Question number 2, if I have a spear in the shanty, does this automatically count as a rod, even though I'm just staying warm and not actively spearing? Not being an ice fisherman, I suspected I knew the answer, but I wasn't sure, so I reached out to the actual experts. Lieutenant Mark Papanow from the DNR. Mark says, the spear does not meet the legal definition of a rod or a line, so it would not count toward the legal 3-line limit. Tip-ups do count. Craig's second question, do tom turkeys gobble year-round? I have heard them obviously in the springtime. I have heard them in the summer. I have heard them in the fall. I have not personally heard them in the wintertime. So again, I reached out to an expert, Al Stewart, retired DNR wildlife biologist and nationally known turkey expert. He said turkeys do indeed gobble in the winter. So that means turkeys gobble year-round. Okay, let me go back and see what else is feeling 75. Tim. Corey, good evening. How are you? David. Emil, DNR Wildlife Habitat Grant is out today. Yes, thank you, Emil. And Emil, I've been talking with Emil. I've been talking to two guys about this concept of a golf outing. Emil Rousseau and Kevin Hannes. Emil Rousseau is a friend of mine from the Lumberjack Restaurant, the Forward Corporation Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. Kevin Hannes is the course superintendent for the West Branch Country Club. We've been talking about putting this outing together. I think it's going to happen. Probably on a Monday, possibly the last Monday in July or first Monday in August. Scott says spring is here. Eric says, yeah, short-lived ice fishing season on the river this year. Robins are here. I saw robins. Johnny, we saw them, what, 3 weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago? Linda, there isn't enough big fish in the world for me to go out in the slop-called ice. I hear you, Linda. Now, I'm not one of those people who says the ice is never safe, because obviously ice can be safe. But there's a lot of time when ice is obviously not safe and people go out on it. I saw a video on YouTube this morning about a guy who was going to make a video on ice fishing, and he had a GoPro strapped to his chest. Well, the video turned into a how to almost die video, because he went through the ice and he couldn't get himself back up out of the ice. It was very interesting and terrifying at the same time. Ashley, didn't even know you were sick, went to work Monday, was fine. Clock out, get to the parking lot, started coughing out blood. Ooh. Yeah, you're sick when that happens. Yeah, Tim says Linwood Channel probably open today. Scott, Marty is great and all his sponsors. And we're talking about Marty Sliga, the Airborne Angler, airborneangler.com. Emil says he loves, are we talking about Marty's picks there? Jerry, good evening. Mike, always a pleasure. Jeff's going to rub it in a little bit more. Jeff says, I'm not tough enough for ice fishing, so I'll just settle for tossing a chum bag over the side of the boat and catching yellowtail snappers out by the reef as he basks in that warm Florida Keys sunshine, possibly with a margarita in hand. Although I don't know if Jeff drinks or not. Scott says the decoy is a line if it has a hook. Tim. Saginaw Bay ice fishing is over as far as deep water goes. Some shore ice will be accessible for how... good point. And Marty made that point. He said, yes, there is some shore ice, and there are people out on it. Good evening, Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales in Colin. How are you? Good beagles make rabbit hunting fun. If I had two great well-trained bagels. He had two nice beagles when he was younger. Ross says they'll gobble year-round when in the roost. Chris checking in from Kansas. How are things in Kansas? Oh, Mark. Mark played 36 holes of golf so far this week. If and when we have our outing, Mark will join us, I suspect, for our outing. Linda says, golf outing, sweet. Yes, you will, Ross. Dare I even say you'll be sexy by then? Not that you're not now, Ross. Hello, Bruce. Hello, Ed. Jeff says, a skunk crossed his backyard last night. What is one of the first signs of Mother Nature of springtime? Skunks. What's another one? Red-winged blackbirds. No blackbirds yet, but I've had a couple reports of skunks being out. You have to use common sense. Yep. Actually, luckily, I didn't have far to go to the hospital because I work at the hospital. Just turned around and walked right back in. Emil said, that's not funny. Doug, me too, but only caught fish in half those holes. And you know, guys like Doug, and I'm not picking on Doug, I'm just using him as an example because Doug is a very knowledgeable, conscientious, he's a charter captain, a licensed charter captain. People like Doug and people like Captain Mark Pananzak who grew up on the bay and who know that bay inside and out. Listen, my comments are not directed at you. Go out there and have fun. I mean, you know how to get out there safely. You know how to get back safely. You know what to look for. My concern is people who don't have that kind of experience. In particular, maybe people who come in from outside of the area. They come over from the west side. They don't know what that bay is all about and get themselves in trouble. I think it's time probably to get off the ice, other than shore ice. Eric says, fling arrows at them with recurve. Oh, man, that sounds like fun. Kevin checking in from downriver. How are you, Kevin? Bill Milliken has video of himself falling through the ice and having trouble getting out. Hey, Derek, where was Ben? I'm sorry. Bill Milliken was a governor. Ben, before your time. Ben, where was Ben's video from, Derek? It might be the same one I was looking at. Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. Hey, Bill, how are you? Just a reminder, we have our big outing coming up. I think I know the dates, but let me just double check here before I go. Saying something that Bill, help me out. October 21 through 25. Oh, here we are. I'm sure it's 21 through 25. October 21 through 25. We've moved it back a week. We're a week closer to the rut. Should be outstanding. Free range hunt in Ohio with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. I will be there. Many of our friends who are on here tonight will be there, but we still have openings. This is a 5-day hunt. It includes lodging and meals. It does not include your license or any tip. And I think when you go hunting with somebody, you should or fishing, you should give them a tip. OhioBowHuntingOutfitters.com, OhioBowHuntingOutfitters.com. Get in touch with Bill Piles. Tell him you want to be a part of the Avery outing. Or just send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Tell me the same information. I will put you in touch with Bill, and we will make it happen. Jay says the sturgeon chivalry is still happening, despite what Mother Nature is trying to throw at him. Bruce, good evening. Yeah, these animals got to be screwed up. NCVAO, White Lake Lodge in Ontario, Canada. Steve, good evening. How are you? Is this the last? It is finally the last day of deer hunting season in Michigan, isn't it? That's right. Tim says, having dinner, waiting for more open water to get the boat out. Skunks breed, Jeff says, in February and March. That's why they unhibernate. That's why they become active. I don't want to say unhibernate. That's why you see skunks. They're looking for love. Hey, Kevin, I know we will. I have absolutely no doubt that we will figure this thing out, and we will have an outing this summer at the West Branch Country Club in a time frame of sometime late July, early August-ish. Can't do mid-August because I'm going bear hunting in Ontario. I know exactly what you're talking about, Johnny. We'll get it figured out. They are? Oh, you're in Kansas. Okay. Chris said the Red Wings are back in Kansas. Hello, Tim. Let's see. Corey, trail camp 2 nights ago. Elmer checking in from Petoskey, 21 through 25 of October. Milliken Fishing on YouTube, Fairly New Bass Pro. Okay, that's not the one I was watching. I will check that out, though. Cameron, how are you this evening, buddy? Beautiful crappies, gills last weekend, Southwest Michigan. John Callison and his dad fished with Bill Piles hunted with us last year. And John says a great family operation. The properties down there are excellent. Trying to get Ross Elliott to come down there with us. Now, Linda, I just will have you know that I knew that unhibernate was not a word, but it was one I chose to use anyway. Evening, Tom. John says he misses the bed in his room at Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. It was comfortable. Pepe Le Pew. Okay. Oh, Ross says Steve at the White Lake Lodge. Okay, now it's coming to me, guys. Is one of the guys that does my bear baiting. A super nice guy. Okay, Steve. How are you tonight? I love that part of Ontario. White River, the people there. Cookie and Ron St. Louis and Daryl Godden and the whole crew up there. Just great people. I love going up there. Johnny says, I can't golf after August 6th because I'll be baiting your bear. That's a good point, Johnny. even if our outing was August 7th, I am not going to let you sign up because you have more important things to do, and that is getting me a bear. Cameron, I'm embarrassed to say I never did get a doe. I never did. I stink at deer hunting. I absolutely do, and I admit it. Robert, seeing quite a few fox lately. What's their breeding cycle? Game cameras out year round. I don't know what their breeding cycle is, but we've been seeing a lot of fox around here too. Chris says, Mike, are there any openings for bear hunts with where you go hunting with? Yes. That is the beauty. Now, there's two different bear hunts I'm talking about here, Chris. One is a Michigan hunt with my friend, the Bear Whisperer, Johnny Bowler. That you're not going to get a tag for. The other one is a bear hunt in Ontario, Canada, White River, Ontario, Canada, with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. That one, we do have openings. You can buy a tag over the counter. That hunt starts, if you choose the fall hunt, it starts August 15th. There's also a springtime hunt that is right around Memorial Day, but that interferes with my walleye fishing, so I'm not going on that one. James, good evening. How are you? Rick. Tom Campbell said it's out there. He said there was no delay in the February issue, Rick. Johnny Bowler says, I stunk at deer hunting, also didn't get a deer, but you at least had opportunities, Johnny. I didn't have any opportunities. Okay. I've caught up on my comments. Bill Piles. I don't know, Bill. So, Johnny, help me out. Can non-residents get a Michigan bear tag? Bill Piles, I don't know the answer to that. Johnny, help me out. Can non-residents get a Michigan bear tag? So they can. Okay. All right, Chris, have a good night, buddy. I did not know that. It'll take you a couple years, though, to build up your points. Hey, Jordan, how are you? Johnny says, yes, they can. Ross says, yes, they can. Okay, excellent. Wouldn't that be cool, Bill, if you got a tag with Johnny? Cameron says, yes. If you got a tag with Johnny and we ended up bear hunting with Johnny at the same time, oh, my gosh. Craig says, there are indeed tags allotted for non-residents. Johnny says, you never know. What do we call Johnny Bowler? We call him the Bear Whisperer. Now, Bill, what we need to do is get Johnny back to Ohio to hunt with you. My hunting... Hey, Brent, how you doing, buddy? Look forward to seeing you at the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction Saturday, March 2nd. I'll talk more about that in a minute. You will have to bring some bail money, yes. My hunts for the spring. Springtime turkey hunt. Mid-August bear hunt. Hopefully September bear hunt with Johnny Bowler. And then an October whitetail hunt with Bill Piles. And then, of course, all the Michigan stuff. Mark says he might have to go to the UP just to watch Johnny and Bill hunt together. It would be epic. Epic, Tim. Okay. Days are certainly getting longer, aren't they? All right, here's an interesting question. Robert asks, in Ontario, for example, if I'm going to go up there and hunt, I have to use an outfitter or a guide. What about, Johnny Bowler, Robert's asking the question, does I know in Michigan, residents don't have to use a guide. I believe non-residents don't have to use a guide either. No, Cameron, it's warm here now. Won't let it happen. Okay. We talked about ice conditions. If you want to go out there, have at it. It's a free country. You do what you want. Do what you want. Did you see the post? Do not need a guide, Johnny says. You do not need a guide. An hour of daylight. Wow. Did you see the post I made late last week? I posted a flyer for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, which is Saturday, March 2nd. Go to the website one.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net to get tickets. Bill Lincoln, the guy right here who's responsible for the idea of a Mike Avery Outdoors golf outing. One.bidpal.net. Evening, Brian. How are you? I posted a picture of a flyer. On that flyer, it listed all the information for the event and a lot of the different things that we're going to do, including one line that said gun raffles. Gun raffles for a church to raise money for our church and school. Instagram saw the word gun and they deleted the post. They sent me a message, said, we have deleted your post because it violates Instagram community standards. Because it had the word gun. Now, if you've been on Instagram, and if you go poking around Instagram, there's some really crazy, stupid, borderline vile stuff there. I mean, stuff that is really, I don't think, appropriate. But they can put those young girls dancing in front of a camera, but we can't put up a flyer that says gun raffle. So we took the word gun off it, and I reposted it and just said raffle, and they can't touch it. Well, they could, but they haven't yet. Bernie says, I am a community standards breaker. He almost says woke is a joke. We didn't even have the word God on the flyers, just guns. Oh, it's bear hunting is fun. You've had them deny advertising for hunts. Captain Mark Pananzak, good evening, everyone. Just left Bay City Western after refereeing. Mark Pananzak, thank you for agreeing to donate a walleye fishing trip on the Detroit River for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. Let me tell you more about that. It's Saturday, March 2nd. It's at the Great Hall in Midland. We are almost sold out, but we have some tickets. Go to one.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor to get your tickets. Great food, great fellowship, some of the hunts. Now, these are just live auction things that I'm going to talk about here right now. The live auction items: an African safari, courtesy Craig Plowman. As an Illinois bow hunt, courtesy Craig Plowman. A 3-day guided Michigan turkey hunt, courtesy of Gary Morgan and Wild Game Dynasty. A UP bear hunt, courtesy of Johnny Bowler. Youth hunts, courtesy of Scott Hand. A Michigan predator hunt, courtesy of Matt Schock. Fishing trips. A Lake Michigan salmon fishing trip in May, courtesy of Captain Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters. Oh, walleye, too. Walleye on Saginaw. I'll get to this in a minute. Walleye on Saginaw Bay. One trip, Captain Doug Ward is donating. I mentioned the Detroit River trip. I'm also giving away one Saginaw Bay walleye trip this year. Just one. And also a UP brook trout fishing trip. Another item, Michigan brand products for a year. I mean, this is going to be epic. Epic. One.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor to get your tickets. I won't kick him out. No, Robert, that's a good... we don't have a sturgeon fishing trip. I would scold you, Bill. I would. This is a family page and a family show. I can't deny that. Because as my granddaughter Addison used to say, family can be important. All right, I told you who's coming up on the show this week. One.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net. Boy, that might be all I've got for tonight. I might be wrapping this up a little bit early. Unless you folks have a topic you want to take me off in that direction. Did you sign up for the Deer Management Initiative, the Michigan DMI, Deer Management Initiative? I did. I don't think I'm qualified to be on it. I don't expect I will be picked to be on it. But I appreciate the fact that, it is getting to be Maker's Mark time, that the DNR is actually asking people to get involved in deer management issues. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, hey, what deer hunting changes do you expect for 2024? I don't expect any, because I think the department is putting all of their emphasis on this DMI, this Deer Management Initiative, and I don't think they will make any major changes until that group meets and comes up with their suggestions. Jeff said he did. Cliff said he did. There's Scott right there. Yes, I just said that. Sorry, late tonight. In the Sioux, as you know, doe hunt at my place for the youth senior. Oh, I didn't know it was a senior hunt too. So that means you want me to go ahead and buy it? You know, here's the thing, Scott. Yes, I suck at deer hunting. I know I do. I like to deer hunt. Like, I love going down to Bill Piles. I like going out to our lease property. But if I had to choose between deer hunting, turkey hunting, and bear hunting, I think we all know what I'd be doing. Mike, would you please pass along the info to Bill about bear? I will, Johnny. I will. Michelle says, when will we know for sure if or when the golf outing will be? The sooner we start planning, the easier. Agree, Michelle. I'm going to say at this point, well, it's not locked in, so I can't say yes. I'm feeling like it's like 85% going to happen. The window that the time frame I've given some people is late July, early August, or late August. Because I don't want to interfere with my walleye fishing, and I don't want to interfere. I agree, Linda. I agree. And I don't want it to interfere with my mid-August bear hunt in White River with Ron St. Louis. If I could just figure out how to bear hunt from the Angler Quest, my life would be complete. Robert says, I've attended DNR meetings in the past. I don't believe they listened. Emil says, well, here we go. Let me check something, though, Emil. I thought that was August. Do you mean August 5th, Emil? Emil says right now we've got July 9th set aside and August 6th as an alternative. It would be August 5th, actually, as a Monday. Now, this is providing that we can find somebody to host us. And right now I've been talking to Kevin Hannes of the West Branch Country Club. It'll happen. It'll happen. We just need to figure out the details. If and when this happens. So Michelle, those are your dates right there. Look at July 29th as the date we're shooting for, or August 5th as the backup. Kevin says he just talked to Tom. We're all set. Kevin, send me a text right now, if you would, and tell me what you mean by that as far as all set. Because maybe we can lock this in right now and tell people to put it on your calendar. The proceeds from this, and I never thought of a golf outing as a money maker, but I understand you can make money on golf outings. I'm not looking for, probably not August 5th. Johnny, you're breaking my heart, brother. Doug says August 5th. Please, pretty please. Well, 29th or the 5th. Anyway, any proceeds made from this would be directed to MUCC's Camp for Kids. Camp for Kids is a project, an event, a place to introduce young people to the outdoors. I can't think of a better place to put funds. What is that? I just saw a thumbs up icon come up on the screen that I have never seen before. What was that? Huh. Anyway, again, I said, the West Branch Country Club said we want to do it on a Monday. They were coming up last week too. Okay. Second time tonight, Emil says. Somebody do that. Somebody try to make a thumbs up on the screen there and then tell me how you did that, just because I'm curious before we go. Can you make it do thumbs up and tell me how you did it? I've never seen that before. Okay, your camera is reading your reactions and somehow thinks you're giving a thumbs up. Well, there's a thumbs up. Oh, there it is. Oh, it followed me. Okay, what's this now? You can also do this one's kind of crazy, but it'll do that one too. What happens if you do? No, we can't do that one. It is like a new toy. Okay, let me read a quick text here. He said, we're going to do what days. Okay. The latest news on the Mike Avery Outdoors. The latest news on the Mike Avery Outdoors golf outing. At the West Branch Country Club, obviously in West Branch. It will be a Monday. July 29th. Put it on your calendars. Got it. Talking about it right now. Monday, July 29th. Monday, July 29th. The Mike Avery Outdoors golf outing at the West Branch Country Club. Monday, July 29th. Tim's like, I know you're going to do this later. Once again. What I want to do. Oh, there we go. Get that. And then this one. I am easily entertained. Daytime or evening? It will be daytime, I'm assuming, Doug. Kevin Hannes is the superintendent at the West Branch Country Club. He says, right on. He said, we're doing it. Now, Bill Lincoln, this guy right here, Bill is the guy who came up with this concept in the first place. Isn't Johnny Bowler's birthday coming up soon? Yeah, he said 14 days. He's going to be 51 years old. Hey, Branton, good evening. How are you? Okay, let's try this. Oh, it'll do a thumbs down. What else? Well, see, Mike, you're getting way ahead of us. Where would we have to go to sign up? Those details have not been worked out yet, but I will guarantee you that as we get them figured out, I will post. Yes, I am like a kid in candy. Isn't technology great? I will. Tony, I could be here all night doing this. Okay, Cliff, you guys are getting way ahead of me. What's the approximate cost for participating? I have no idea yet. That doesn't do anything. Finger glasses? Now we're reaching. Now we're stretching. Oh, you know the one that I want to try, don't you? You know the one I want to try. All right, let's do a little something here. And you know what's coming. That music means we're either starting a Wednesday Night Live or we're wrapping up a Wednesday Night Live. A few more comments here. Try the peace sign. I don't know how to do a peace sign. I'm not going to do it, Doug. I'm not. Oh, you'll look into the buzzer for me. Thank you. You like this music? I like this music. Yeah, it's going to be $1 million per person. All right, my name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. This was Wednesday Night Live. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't forget to get your tickets for the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction Saturday, March 2nd. At the Great Hall in Midland, go to one.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net/Trinity to get your tickets. It looks like we're doing a golf outing at the West Branch Country Club Monday, July 29th. Details coming up on that. Thanks for joining me, and have a great night.